These are all of the things that have helped me exit my lazy girl era and enter my that girl, productivity queen, go-getter lifestyle. Now let's get straight into it. The first thing I want to talk about is to stop putting excessive pressure on yourself. Now, I cannot tell you how much my life, my mood, my mental state changed when I stopped trying to do every single thing in one day. I would literally wake up with an excessively long to-do list and so much pressure on my head, on my shoulders, thinking I need to achieve everything that I want today. Like, as in, it sounds crazy, but I think a lot of us end up thinking like that. And that's probably the reason a lot of us end up giving up on our dreams, because we expect everything to happen like this. It's like, oh, I want to be a content creator, or I want to be a writer, and you sort of just want it to happen quite quickly, and it does not work like that. Everything takes time, and it's so important to break up our to-do list in a way that reflects that. So I just want to speak with examples here. Now, in my case, I was an aspiring writer for a really long time. Literally from the moment I graduated, it was the only thing I wanted to do as a career. And I was putting a lot of pressure on myself as a fresh graduate to have a whole entire novel ready within a month or two, because I didn't really want to start a traditional career like a 9-to-5 straight away. I just wanted to get my publishing deal and just get straight into it. And it did not work like that at all. I wrote 3 novels before I was finally able to get a literary agent and a publishing deal. So it just didn't happen, and I put so much pressure on myself that I stopped enjoying the process of writing. It was when I let go of that pressure and that expectation from, like, that expectation I had of myself to become a New York Times bestseller straight away. As a fresh graduate, I was finally able to enjoy the process and enjoy the energy I was able to bring to my writing. So ironically enough, I'm actually telling you to do less and to do it with focus. I think it's a bit of a myth when people say, you know, you can multitask, you can do so many different things at the same time. I don't really think that's true, because your focus is divided. So essentially you're doing loads of things to a very poor standard. It's much better to just have all of your attention on one task and just give it your all. And then, you know, once you're done with that, maybe set yourself another 1 or 2 tasks. So instead of jam-packing multiple things into a day, just make it as minimal as possible, like your to-do list, and really give it your all and do it with a passion. The second thing I want to talk about is so close to my heart, and it's something I've struggled with for years. It's actually to stop living in your past, to let go of everything that's happened and just focus on your present. I think the vast majority of us end up living in our head, literally thinking about the past or worrying about the future, and sacrificing our present in that process. And I have struggled with this so much, and I'm going to be honest with you, I still struggle with it sometimes, but I'm doing a lot better now. A lot of us can be so unforgiving about our past. We think about all the time we've wasted, or how we could have achieved so much more, or all the stupid, embarrassing things we've done that we convince ourselves people are still sitting there and thinking about or talking about, which they probably are not, because everyone is very much focused on themselves and, you know, trying to make it, or trying to just figure out their own lives. Like, you know, people aren't as obsessed with you as you think, or as, you know, our brain generally tries to convince us. So yeah, you just have to let go of everything embarrassing, or all the memories that, like, you know, just play on your mind, and focus on the present. There are some things that have really helped me with this. In particular, actually having a list of things to do. Now, this may seem like a bit of a contradiction to the first point, but it isn't. Because like I said, having excessive lists of things to do is what's going to make you want to procrastinate and get away from it all, because it's too much, and it's too much pressure, and it's going to make stress accumulate, and you don't need that. You just need to have a minimal list of things to do, and you just need to get on with it as soon as possible in your day, as early on as possible, because productivity breeds productivity, and procrastination and laziness breeds procrastination and laziness. So if you start off your day right by doing, one or two tasks that you've set for yourself, you will literally feel so proud of yourself, so energized, and that will set the tone, the right tone for the rest of your day. You will not have time to sit there doing, this daydreaming about all the things that have happened, or worrying or stressing about what people are saying, thinking, doing. It's just, it can happen to all of us. I think a lot of us do get trapped in these cycles of overthinking, negative thinking. So the way to break out of it is literally small steps and small bits of activity that will accumulate into, more productivity, more activity, and it will just literally set the tone for your day and your week in the most beautiful way. Some other things you can do to be more present in the moment are mindfulness, mindful meditating in particular. It will really help to bring you back to the present and focus on what you want to do in your day rather than worrying about the past or the future. The third thing I want to talk about is stopping with the perfectionism. I cannot tell you how much this has held me back in life. I recently had one of my Instagram reels go viral and hit 5 million views. I have never experienced anything like that before across any of my social media platforms, and I was in shock because I just thought to myself, you know what? Start of 2024, I said I want to post more on Instagram. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to overthink it. In the past, I would literally sit there planning my reels so carefully, overthinking things, worrying how, the aesthetic is, worrying how I'm going to come across to my followers. I just thought, I'm just going to post this reel. I did not think much of it. And it just is wild how people have engaged with it and really related to it. And I'm just like, mind is blown. So don't be a perfectionist. Don't overthink things. If you really want to go for something, just go. You will become better on the journey. You will never improve unless you start. It's so important to just start. And this is exactly the same thing that happened with my novels. Like, instead of overthinking now, I just start typing. I just go for it. And there's a very famous quote that most writers are aware of, which is that you can always edit a bad page, but you can't edit a blank page. Meaning, fine, you've written a chapter and it's horrendously bad. You can keep editing it. You can even edit it 10 times until it looks somewhat decent. But if there's absolutely nothing there on the page, if it's a blank page, how are you going to work with it? So just remember that analogy in a sense with whatever you want to do in life. The fifth thing I want to talk about is pre-planning your days. I cannot tell you how much this has helped me with going to the gym in particular. I have started leaving my workout clothes on a table in my room. So the following day when I will wake up, it's right there. I make it as easy for myself as possible. And that is actually one of the secrets to self-discipline. You literally set up your environment in a way that you do not have to constantly fight with yourself in order to make good decisions. It's just there. It's as convenient and as accessible as possible to enrich your day with productivity. And so I plan my day the evening before, and I try to make sure everything that I want to do, I make it as manageable and as easy as possible. I don't jam pack my schedule. I don't overdo the things that are not necessary. I try to prioritize what is actually important to me according to my work deadlines or according to what I'm really passionate about. Getting into shape, eating healthy, feeling fit and more energized is really important to me, and it's something that I've really slacked on in the past. I haven't really given it as much importance as I should have. And so now what I do is I make it as easy for myself as possible through eliminating junk food. I don't have it in my room. I try not to keep it in my study area or near my desk. I try to keep my gym clothing as easily accessible to me somewhere around the room, and I try to sort of book classes at a time where I know, okay, I will not be rushing to it, I will not be looking for excuses to miss out or skip on these gym classes. So like timing is very important. And yeah, I just like to plan my day in a way that is easy, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's as stress-free as possible. One of the chapters in this book, Atomic Habits, is actually called The Secret to Self-Control, and I thought this was amazing. When I first read it, I was just in disbelief because it's the complete opposite of what you would assume that self-discipline is about. Okay, this is the paragraph that I loved reading it. I thought it was so incredible and so eye-opening. Self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term one. You may be able to resist temptation once or twice, but it's unlikely you can muster the willpower to override your desires every time. Instead of summoning a new dose of willpower whenever you want to do the right thing, your energy would be better spent optimizing your environment. This is the secret to self-control. Make the cues of your good habits obvious and the cues of your bad habits invisible. So literally set up your environment for your success, for your productivity. The last thing I want to talk about is how important it is to be more careful and more conscious of your diet. I cannot emphasize to you how much junk food or eating unhealthy has an impact on your brain in particular. And if your brain feels lethargic, it's really, you're feeling moody or you're feeling low on energy because of the kinds of foods you're eating, that is setting you up to fail. You will not feel productive. You will not feel like you're in a good mood. There's one book in particular that has highlighted these aspects really, really well. Now, this really opened my eyes to the impact, the sheer impact that diet has on the brain. And of course, the whole body, but specifically the brain. There's one part that I would love to read just because I think it just captures everything that I'm trying to say. The title of this section is Getting Off the Blood Sugar Roller Coaster. If up until now you have been eating a high carbohydrate diet, cereal, sandwiches, pasta, biscuits, crisps, juice, then a large amount of sugar will end up in your blood after eating. This surge in your blood sugar level will be abruptly followed by a sugar crash as insulin does its job, sweeping that sugar out of your blood and into fat storage. These big swings in your blood sugar level disrupt your body's equilibrium, and one part of your body in particular feels a sudden sugar high followed by a crashing low, and this part is your brain. The rapid change in blood sugar level from high to low can make you feel grumpy, foggy, and lethargic. Since this is an unpleasant way to feel, you can seek out more sugar to counteract your sugar low. And it basically makes you feel stuck in this cycle because you're constantly crashing and then you're eating more junk or you're having more sugary foods in order to give you that high again. And you're just stuck. It's a cycle and you're constantly trying to lift yourself back up. Another thing that I really loved about this book is that it really highlights the foods you should be eating, and it gives so many alternatives. One that I will just give as an example was that instead of having coffee or tea with excessive amounts of sugar, try replacing that with green tea because there's so many health benefits, and have it without any sugar, and just try to grow accustomed to the taste of that. Because it's healthy, it does taste good, and it's a great alternative if you find yourself having excessive caffeine with sugar throughout your day. Another thing, I do try to make sure I replace all fizzy drinks or juice with as much water as possible. So yeah, honestly, just reflect on your day and try to replace anything unhealthy that you have with a healthy alternative. Trust me, you will be able to do it. It might take you a day or two to adjust to the difference in taste or feeling, but push on through and it will be so much better for you. Another thing I just want to mention is that it is really good to have some vitamins you know, some supplements throughout the day, and I feel like that generally helps me with my energy levels as well. So these are all the things that have really helped me to just break free out of my lazy girl, unproductive, procrastinating era, and just plunge myself into a whole new lifestyle where I'm productive, where I'm feeling happy with myself, and I'm just really optimizing my day-to-day life to get me to the goal that I want to, you know, to get me to my dream life, basically, to get me to the goals that I want to achieve. I've always been really ambitious, and I felt like I didn't quite know how to break that up into a day-to-day thing. It was just so much weighing on my mind and on my shoulders, and I was just trying to do too much, and it was so unhealthy. I feel so much happier and lighter and more productive. So yeah, I really hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please do let me know in the comment section below, and do all the other good stuff too, liking, subscribing, all that stuff. And do let me know about any other tips that you might have for productivity. I'd love to hear more about your journey too. I'll see you next time. Bye.